Our man Jason Jones here. Oh, look at that. He borrowed Kenny's Lakers back to back.
Yeah. We were talking about it this weekend. Yeah.
That ain't Kenny's hat, bro.
I was like, I didn't know whether to wear the hat or, me and Kenny, we were out, checking out the Michelin Nest site. And I was like, Kenny, we both picked these up over the weekend.
Oh, let's go.
Man.
Yeah.
Look, nice little Kobe. Crisp 24.
It's Kobe. I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't got no problem with Kobe.
But yeah, so I mean,
it's purple and gold propaganda.
Us Lakers fans got to stay united. I mean, hey, we got to stay together. I know it's rough living in Sacramento as a Laker fan, but I'm proud of you. You're not ashamed of it. It's all good. Let's go. Come on now.
Like I said,
I don't even know. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. But hey, I mean, I don't have a picture in front of any.
I gave the Lakers mural. Like I said, the media didn't want to show it, but that's what I gave the Lakers mural.
I don't even have a picture in front of that mural. You beat me to it.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just saying. It's just, I'm glad you came home. Proud of you.
No, I've been home. I'm not going anywhere. My home is here in Sacramento, California, and with the Sacramento Kings. Don't let anybody tell you different.
I mean, I just know what I saw, and the picture's worth 1,000 words.
Pictures don't lie.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's all good. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, I know you got a job. You don't want to try to turn off the fan, but it's okay. We, what did Pac say? You and I know what's going on.
No, we know exactly what's going on. And me hating the Lakers. Although somebody said there in the chat, they said we're trading KC for Snoop.
Well, I saw that.
Snoop in that Mike Bibby jersey the other day.
Snoop got a Laker tattoo though. Snoop has worn literally every jersey in the NBA.
Snoop is like, what's the bag looking like?
Exactly. Snoop. Yeah.
What's the bag looking like?
I think the only one I can't remember ever seeing Snoop in is a Celtics jersey.
Yeah, I think that's where he draws the line.
Yeah, because even at the big three, they asked Cube after Jaylen Brown, "You gonna wear a Celtics jersey?" He was like, "Oh, come on now, I didn't say all that now." I mean, I think I own every Shaq jersey except the Celtic one. I just couldn't do it.
You got a Phoenix Suns Shaq jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, that's spectacular. That's
another one.
I have the Cavs. I have the Cavs. Yep.
Is he your favorite player of all time, or is it Magic?
Magic, then Shaq.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a picture with Magic?
Hmm?
Do you have a picture with Magic?
No, I don't. And that's like one of the things I need. And one of these days I'm gonna make that happen one way or another. I don't know how. If someone wants to let Magic, I mean, if anything, can I be like Magic's adopted child for those vacations?
Oh, seriously.
Well,
I mean, it's just like it's like a month-long reminder of how broke we all are. Hey, we're living on a yacht for like a month.
It's the vacation form of Watch the Throne. That's
what can we do? I'm like, hey.
Well, the next big thing, maybe you can get a picture with the guy who plays Magic in Winning Time.
Maybe, but their heights are a little too close. It wouldn't be the same,
He does a really, really good job as Magic Johnson. Like I think he does. We're talking about was Quincy Isaiah. He does it. He plays Magic Johnson in Winning Time. You talked to him for one of your recent columns over at The Athletic. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I asked the question earlier, is he going to get, depending on how long this show runs, because longevity matters in these types of conversations, could he get stuck to where, you see him as Magic?
I mean, if you get I think so. I mean, I don't know how long he'll get stuck, but I mean, right now, I mean, he didn't really have any real credits before this. Mm-hmm. So really, all he really is known to the public is his Magic. And he said it's cool, when you're in LA, he said everyone has a Magic story. Everyone comes to you and talk about Magic. But yeah, I mean, which would be great if he lives in LA, just stays in LA. I mean, he'll never have to buy a drink or anything, and everyone will love him because I think easily Magic is probably the most popular Laker ever and will probably remain that. I mean, Magic literally quit his job in the front office right before a game, and everyone in LA forgave him. Mm-hmm. Like he was like,
"Yeah, I'll be here,"
and everyone's like, "Well, shoot, they shouldn't have made it to where Magic wanted to quit," and we all just let it go.
Even his boss forgave him.
Yeah,
it's okay, Magic, come back.
That's the best thing. He told us before he told her.
you know that day, like the coaches and everyone didn't know either. Like someone walked in, like, "Your Magic quit." They're like, "Quit what? Like what?"
Can you just imagine being Jeannie Buss in that moment? Jeannie, Magic's downstairs. Okay. No, he's quitting. Like he literally just announced on live television he's not doing this job anymore.
What if Monty McNair pulled that on Vivek like right before a game? I
Oh,
won't be here. I won't be here next year.
I can comfortably say he would not be forgiven.
No.
Oh, I would if he took a job. If he went down back to LA, took a job at the Dodgers, his favorite baseball team.
Okay.
See, now you've gone too far.
What? It is his favorite baseball team. We've discussed this.
It's almost time for their season to be over soon anyway.
Well, when is the Giants season over?
Well, it varies. Sometimes it ends, around Halloween. Sometimes it ends around September. We have those type of situations.
You haven't had those situations in a decade. You sounded very Niner fanish, Cowboy fanish right about now.
Last time you had that situation.
These situations, like they've happened in the last decade. These situations. Come on, that's old news now.
Oh, I wouldn't even talk about the Giants. I was talking about the Dodgers. That's it.
No, I asked about the Giants.
When their season's over.
I asked about the Giants.
Well, that's why.
And you went on this whole history lesson. Let's talk about Steve Young and the Cats. Let's go ahead, just wallow in our past. Let's go ahead.
Hey, we kind of assume because you did the story and because you're a Lakers fan, but you like Winning Time? I think it's phenomenal. Like it's a great show. They do a great
I like
job.
it. I mean, once people realize that it was a drama and it wasn't supposed to be word for word what really happened, because poor Jerry West was going through it last year.
Well, and he was.
Oh, he was going through it all right. Opening scene, episode 2. He was going through it. Oh, why it was so damn hot in that room Jerry West was in, but yeah, he did that.
Oh, it's the summertime. They just want something. It was
the logo.
Summertime.
It's a whole different logo.
The funny thing about it is the people talk about Jerry West often. I always say, Jerry, I love his character, first of all, and the over-the-top nature of how they portrayed him. But I think he comes off, I don't want to say the best, but as one of the best characters. Like, he's damn near always right. He's always on the side of like, yeah, this may be tough, but what do we have to do to win?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he comes off great on the show. While he probably hates it, I think his character is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think if you've been around the league, we all heard the stories of how anxious Jerry would be during games. Like that last title run before he left the Lakers, he even said he couldn't even watch the game. Like he couldn't enjoy it. Like he just couldn't watch a game because it was just too much. And then he's had to play referee with Shaq and Kobe, and and he takes winning so seriously. Like it really is all he cares about. And I think it's got to kill him to be with the Clippers and to see what they do in the playoffs every year. He's got to be like, hey, man, what are we going to do with this? This. And I think also his play, just in terms of basketball history, I mean, imagine if Jerry West, as great as he was, played in a modern era with social media. They'd be like, but you never beat the Celtics, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that flip in the last 10 to 15 years where all it comes down to was, well, did you win a championship or championships? Is I mean, it makes me look back at some of my players' favorites growing up and go, man, wow, was he really, it'll make you think a guy wasn't a good player. It's because people will, but now it's like, I mean, what did Jerry lose? Like 9, 10 finals?
Yeah. One, like I think 1 and 9, 1 and 8.
Yeah. So, I mean, and if and people think LeBron being 4 and 6 is bad. I mean, and Jerry West is still the logo unless you count Austin Reeves, like that tweet Kenny sent me, a picture he sent me. Austin Reeves being the logo.
What is going on in the media nowadays? But this stuff just happens where they just say
hey, I saw the picture you texted to me. I was like, wow, he really does look like the logo. Amazing.
I swear, the media, the propaganda.
Jerry would not be nicknamed Mr. Clutch.
No, he would not. Oh God, the names would be terrible. No one would ever like Mr. Clutch, you're not clutch against Boston. I mean, it would be terrible. I mean, it'd be terrible.
So that's the thing about the show. Like the dialogue is, is obviously, make believe to a certain degree, but and this season really brought to life something for me is the situations aren't like you talked about Jerry West. Like everybody understands that aspect of the portrayal of Jerry West because they've seen it again. Maybe the dialogue, maybe the throwing, trophies and things like that. Maybe that's not real, but
when West said he wasn't doing the David Thompson trade.
Oh man. Yeah, that was
that was hilarious.
It's great television. I mean, and my guy from Cal, Solomon Hughes, playing Kareem.
So and that was the thing that stood out to me so far this season is that the first couple of episodes really focused on Magic and that stuff that like you've read a little bit about if you really dove into it that there was a lot of friction between Magic and his teammates, especially after the contract Dr. Buss gave him. And then you heard, you have read stuff about the relationship or perhaps maybe lack thereof between Kareem and Magic. And it's just fascinating to see that portrayed on screen because even though if you dig deep, you can read that stuff, but you really don't read about Magic in a negative light very often. And you got to go back to the beginning of his career and his persona in front of the camera was always the same. It never changed.
Right.
But his teammates felt very different about him.
Yeah, people forget that Magic was almost seen as like a spy for Jerry Buss. Like, no player is supposed to be that close with the owner. But if you look back too, it's a lot more common nowadays. But what was he, 19 when he got drafted? Like got in the league at 20. So it's not like nowadays where you had these things set up for these young guys to come in. He's a kid who got dropped in a grown man's league. Granted, he was a hell of a player, but it wasn't like they had, the development coach over here and that guy. And he kind of he's a kid from Michigan, nowhere near. He just latched on to Dr. Buss because really, you look at that organization, the people closest to Magic's eggs were Buss's kids.
Yeah.
So it's like he became like a son, and it just so you look at it, it does in some ways make sense, but it also on the other hand, if the way the league was set up with contracts and everything back then, you just look at the fact you had a guy like Bob McAdoo who was the league MVP, who couldn't, was struggling to get a real deal, whereas Magic getting a 25-year contract, and then it's like. Really? I mean, $1 million a year now, that's like nothing. But back then, that was like, what?
They had that dialogue with him and Michael Cooper where he's like, yeah, they just gave me an extension. I didn't even ask for it or nothing. And I just got to do the same things I've been doing. It's crazy.
Yeah, just wow. Yeah, I mean, the way they kind of come with some of that dialogue is like hilarious to me. Like I said, I love the Kareem moments because you heard so much about how Kareem was just so standoffish and like, it's funny, me knowing Solomon, I'm like, Solomon is the complete opposite of that. He's like the most approachable guy in the world. And so to see Solomon in this role of get my orange juice and and all this stuff, I enjoy watching all of that.
That was real, right? That orange juice thing was real. I feel like I saw that in a documentary about Kareem. And it was like some sort of test or like it wasn't meant to be serious, but it was it was either in a doc or a short or something visual that I saw Kareem talking about that. And I think it was about it wasn't something about Kareem. It was something about Magic. And I remember seeing that scene depicted like, oh, I remember this. He talked about this. This is real. He really had Magic going around getting him different kinds of orange juice.
I think nowadays, I don't know if they're even allowed to do that stuff to rookies anymore.
I think hazing is ridiculous, regardless of sports, whatever.
Yeah.
You sent the peeping eyes to Chris Haynes' tweet regarding JaVale McGee. We were talking about that shortly before you joined us. JaVale McGee in Sacramento. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, from my own personal, everyone who knows me knows what a big fan of JaVale I've always been. So James Ham is probably somewhere cracking up right now because I prayed for days like this. I'm just mad I'm not on the beat. If
I was gonna say Jason Jones back on the beat.
Cardiac like, hey, I know that's not my beat anymore, but can you know, hey.
So for those who don't know, to give them the history, which you
I don't know how it started. It was just maybe it was the time we were in Washington and like he was trying to post up Isaiah Thomas. No, I know where it started. It was a game at the whatever it was called by back then, Power Balance or whatever. Oh. They're playing the Kings and he tried to dunk from the free throw line like during a game.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he missed. And my old buddy Michael Lee was the beat writer back then. And he asked him about it. And he was like, well, I had the heart to try it. And I was like, he's a legend. I said, that's my guy right there. He said, he was like, why y'all tripping? I don't see you trying to dunk from the free throw line in the middle of a game. I'm like, man, that's yeah. And from there, I just became like this stand for JaVale McGee when he went to Denver. I bought like a JaVale McGee t-shirt jersey. So yeah, I'm like, I have never owned an active Kings player jersey, but if they get JaVale, that'd probably be my first.
Oh yeah, need that.
Yeah,
I mean, Cuz is my guy. I never had a Cuz jersey. Well, but I mean, after they traded him, I tried to go back and get one. They cleared it out like my man had a doggone case against him. I'm like, yo. Like, dang, y'all act like he like beat somebody up or hurt children. I'm like, what is this? Cleared out all my man stuff. If they get JaVale, that might be my first Kings related jersey. I'm gonna have to go ahead and rock the JaVale. I don't care if he plays 0 minutes. I'm rocking the JaVale McGee.
I just want to be just clear. The description of this moment is not good enough. For those that are watching, if you don't recall, goodness gracious.
The moment he tried that, I said he's a legend. He could never do any wrong.
JaVale is wild.
He could never do. The moment he tried that, he could. And then I was just always present for this funny JaVale moments, like, and not like in a make fun of him way. It just like, what the hell is going on? Like when he's trying to post up Isaiah Thomas, and it's like the whole bench is like, this is hilarious. And he like calling for the ball, and they're like, come on, man, give him the ball. He's going against 5'9" IT. And I don't think he made the shot either, which made it even worse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The crazy
thing like I said, I actually, even basketball wise, I do think a guy like JaVale would help them. But like I said, I don't care about that.
No.
Like I said, I said, James Ham somewhere going, this has to happen just to get Jason back to the arena more than once a year. Yeah. That happens. I'll be like, you know what, guys, I need to go out there and, oh, there we go.
I believe I found.
There we go. I was there. Calling for the ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
To be fair,
that's not JaVale.
This isn't JaVale's fault.
It wasn't a great pass at all.
Was that John Wall who made that pass? I think it's John Wall.
Let's see. Yeah, it's number 2. Yep, that's John. Oh, I think. Did he think JaVale was going to spin off of Isaiah? Because look at this.
I don't know what that was.
Because John Wall has the nerve to be mad. Watch John Wall's reaction. Watch his reaction. Looking at JaVale like, what are you doing?
Maybe he wanted JaVale to go for the lob. I don't know what that was. I have no idea. But it was also great post defense by IT. He didn't get bullied and pushed into the paint. Yeah,
Isaiah is that interior defensive presence that the Kings have needed.
That's what we've been missing for the past year.
Yeah, so yeah, I would fully endorse that just for my own personal. I'd be like, why are you guys playing for bonus so many minutes? Get him off the court. We need JaVale out there.
Now the crazy thing is, JaVale would, I believe, he would help the Kings out.
Oh yeah, I think he would too. Yeah, I don't know what happened in Dallas. That was just weird. Signed them and then they basically didn't. I don't know what the deal was out there, but I think based on what JaVale has shown in his career, I think he could help. He could help. Pick and roll. Roll to the basket, catch some lobs. He could still block shots. You're not asking him to play 30 minutes. So
I think some of that silliness that we just played into a little bit, and really the Shaq and a fool stuff has kind of taken away from the fact JaVale's actually a pretty good ball player.
Yeah.
Like he's a really good role player. Like I don't know if Dallas is leaning into Rashawn Holmes or some of the other things that they did this offseason and don't need JaVale anymore, but I feel like JaVale is pretty solid.
Yeah, I still to this day
Shaq
believe
and a fool sometimes.
Right.
And
to his credit, I would say probably since the Warriors experience, he's reeled in his game. Like you don't see him trying to go coast to coast anymore. And he was probably one of those young guys who's, I'm young, I'm athletic, I got so many tools, I could do this and that, and really didn't understand what his role would be in this league for a winning team until he got to Golden State. And that's when a lot of that stuff went out the window as far as
you look at the team he was on Washington. It wasn't like that team was exactly designed to help a young guy get better.
True.
And then he got to Denver. I mean, I still to this day believe that Denver beats the Warriors that first round series if George Karl doesn't sit him. George Karl sat him because George Karl was like, oh, they want to play small? Yes. Because George's dream is a league of like everyone being like 6'5".
Remember that one.
Everybody looking like him. There's a Shaq and a Fool best of JaVale McGee edition on YouTube.
Jeez.
It's 10 minutes long.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow.
I thought the 10 minutes of De'Aaron Fox dribbling was pretty special, but 10 minutes of JaVale McGee acting the fool, Shaqting the fool is pretty.
Somebody put a lot of time into that one right there.
That's tough because I like JaVale. I don't want to feed into the old propaganda. Damn, I'm gonna go watch that.
Oh yeah, I'll watch that too. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that when we're done talking to Jason. That's for sure. But with all that said, as it stands right now, JaVale's probably better than Neemias Queta.
Yes,
JaVale's, I think, definitely better than Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
I think Alex Len did really well here towards the end of the Sacramento Kings season. I don't know, but I like the idea of JaVale.
Yeah, I haven't really read up on what happened, what went wrong in Dallas, because that was supposed to be one of the things that was going to help them, because when they lost to the playoffs the year prior, the whole thing was you got them to get a big man. And then, and you would think that a big man who's athletic and who can roll to the rim and catch lobs would be great with Luka. I mean, when JaVale was with the Lakers, that was like one of the first plays every game they ran with him and LeBron, get him a lob real quick. So we'll see what happens. Of course, today the Kings are interested. Before you know it, by the end of the day, he'll have like 15 suitors, and who knows where, he'll end up being a Clipper or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Did you happen to catch the GM's rankings and top 10? I mean, they left Monty McNair out of there, but they put guys like Troy Weaver, what's my other guy, Brian Wright in San Antonio. Do you think, and I didn't even think about this until something like this came out, but do you think that Monty McNair gets the credit he deserves for what he's done with this franchise? Not just making the playoffs. That was the culmination of it, right? But think about the team that he took over. They had about 5 or 6 playable players, as James Ham would always tell us. And here we are 3-4 years from now, people are talking about how deep the roster is. Do you think that he gets the acknowledgement from maybe the national media that he deserves for what he's done here in Sacramento?
He did win Executive of the Year. So, I mean, I think people recognize what he took over. And as the coaches would say back before he got there was nights where they would say, we've got 4.5 NBA players on our roster. They would be like, you can criticize. I mean, and this is multiple coaches. Criticize us all you want. We've got guys who won't be in the league next year. And sure enough, end of the season, I mean, Sacramento's where you went for your last contract. Okay. Oh, y'all got money? I'll take it. I think around the league he gets credit, but I mean, a lot of times, like I said, those lists are like, well, who do I talk to? Who do I like? Or, or sometimes it'll be like, call up a couple of scouts, who are the 10 best GMs? you know, and then they're like, oh yeah, I like that guy. And what are you defining as the best? Like what's your criteria for the best GM? You know, I mean, some people will say, well, that guy has collected like 25 first round picks. He's really good. Never mind if the picks never pan out to anything.
Right.
It just looks good to say we've got 10 first round picks in the next 3 drafts. Okay. What if you draft 10 guys who can't play?
Yeah.
You know, and there's more to being a GM than, do you understand the chemistry of your locker room? Do you understand that maybe the better player is not the better fit?
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it that, I don't care. I mean, like, it's the end of August. People need some type of content. Hey, let's rank the GMs. And trust me, I know in this business, lists always do get engagement.
Oh, they do, because they're going to piss somebody off.
Yeah, because people will argue over a list for 3, 4, 5 days. And they're going, y'all realize it's just this one person's opinion. How could you have him 12?
Well,
why not? And I'm convinced on some of those lists, they move people down on purpose just for that reason. I'm convinced, because I'm like, why is the Pistons GM so high?
We could point to I mean, I read The Athletic every day, not calling out your people, but The Athletic's list of the top 125 players or whatever it was, their big selling point for one of the days that was LeBron James out of the top 5. Like, and I'm not saying they did that on purpose to get the engagement, but the headline was LeBron James no longer a tier 1 or whatever their
tier 1 player or whatever.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like, I understand it if they did do that to get engagement. Like, that's their job. They got to get people to like click on the stories and I understand that.
Jason Jones would never.
Well, you don't need to.
It's actually one of the things I can't stand about it's just like, hey, let's create this headline that makes it. It's almost like what the wrestling dirt sheets do. The former star retires and it's freaking Jackson Riker. It's like, calm down. Calm down, people. WWE star announces his retirement. Calm down. And that's what it really comes down to. It's not even about if it's good. It's like, if once you click on it, that metric goes, boom, another click, another view. It's like, but it was terrible.
Right.
Or like, it could be absolutely wrong, but it'll get a ton of clicks. So, I mean, this time, and that's one of the toughest things about being on the beat this time of year. You got a month from training camp. Free agency is pretty much over.
Yeah.
What do we do? How do we kill these next 30 days? Let's rank, the top 10 backup point guards in franchise history, and then argue over the place of this guy. People, if you're a smart beat writer, you're on vacation right now. Right. You're not sitting around pulling your hair out trying to figure out, okay, I got to come up with something. Let's figure out how Cater might earn minutes this year. You're really just pulling teeth at this point.
Hey, I was just gonna ask Jay. Running short on time, but I definitely wanted to get his thoughts on this. You wrote or helped write a little bit about the Bray Wyatt.
So that's what I was going to ask. I have a specific line I want to ask if I can interrupt, because I read this a couple of days ago, and as Casey laid out, the article is attributed to the Athletic staff. But there's a line in here that says Wyatt's character was the most innovative and intriguing in WWE since The Undertaker. I feel like that's your line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it as soon as I read it. I was like, that's Jason Jones right there.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, a couple of us chipped in on that. Yeah, and I just can't. You look at, wrestling has always tried to create these like spooky guys for whatever reason, but they're just not. It's more like a cartoonish thing. Bray was like so believable, and it just felt, it wasn't like he was trying to be scary, but you know what they were trying to create, but it was just like. He connected in a way that you forgot who his dad was. Like, you think about the Varsity Club or IRS. I mean, he was his own thing, and he kind of took almost like a bit of that old Waylon Mercy character.
Yeah,
and like you saw, and you kind of said, "Oh, that's what they wanted from that," But Dan Spivey couldn't pull that off, and he pulled it off in a way. I mean, it was really genius. he created his own version of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean-
all of those puppets had meaning to something.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, and like I said, in terms of emotion, that got me. Like I'm like, okay, I don't know him, but that's the only wrestler I ever dressed up as for Halloween ever, and I'm like almost 45, and I've never wanted to be. I was like, that was the first guy. I was like, oh yeah, that guy's that cool. And then on SmackDown, when the whole crowd starts singing the song, I
Mhm.
said, okay, let me go ahead and get my tissue. I can't do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just like, just the whole, the whole crowd just on there. I was like, man, but yeah, that was definitely my line. Yeah, when
A song that he used to mock John Cena, like
Yeah.
stuck with him that way. It just speaks to the love that people had for that character. Like they were in on everything he did. That one scene where Bray came out with all of the kids to surround John Cena because they're John Cena, the kids love John Cena, and then they take the mask. Oh God, that is one of the spookiest scenes in wrestling history. And it's so simple, like there's no fireworks, there's no nothing. It's just kids in these weird sheep masks. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, or even that WrestleMania match with Cena, that in WrestleMania 36, where you're thinking, oh, this is just a gimmick match, and taking John through all these eras of his own character,
the heel turn, yeah.
You just, I mean, nobody else could have pulled that off the way he did, and it's just, man, it was. I mean, when I'm scrolling through and I saw the news, I'm thinking, oh, this isn't funny. Like, what are you talking about? His dad had just said a couple of days earlier he's close to coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely one of those like gut punch moments, and I didn't realize how popular he was outside of the business. I mean, when I was talking to my editor, but we were talking about that. You look at the numbers that just that little brief tribute did to him for him on our site.
Yeah,
it was like it did, like ridiculous, like numbers, like like my NFL stuff type numbers.
Yeah,
it's tremendous.
That's crazy.
Tremendous call for Bray Wyatt and tremendous call for Jason Jones. Jason, we appreciate you being with us.